Ready for a new way to look at failure and results that could change your life? Stay tuned. This is The Creative Entrepreneur, Season 2, Episode 3. Welcome to The Creative Entrepreneur. This is Bob Baker, and on this episode, I'm going to continue my conversation about some helpful hints, some new ways of looking at goal setting and getting results and dealing with failure and et cetera. Before I jump into that, just want to let you know that this episode is brought to you by the DIY Career Manifesto, which just happens to be an ebook that's now available as an audiobook by yours truly. It chronicles my personal journey to self-employed status with a lot of lessons learned along the way that you can apply to your own life and career. And that title in both of those formats is available on Amazon, on Audible, and in the iTunes bookstore. Okay, so on the last episode, I talked about how my approach to goal setting and visualization, affirmations, moving toward what you want in life and in business, how that's evolved over the years. There are always little tweaks and little hacks that we all make, and I've done that myself, but a couple of them recently have really stood out. I shared one of those in the last episode, and in this one I'm going to talk about another one. So again, I guess the typical thing that I've done and many people do at the beginning of a new year, which is when I'm recording this, is they jump all in. There's a new bit of excitement. It's a fresh start. It's a new year. And it really is a wonderful time to get re-enthused, to add some new fuel to the fire of your ambitions, and everybody's all in. I mean, we always know the classic thing about like gyms and fitness centers. They're just like crowded as hell during the month of January because everybody's got that New Year's resolution. And then, of course, what happens? Well, come February, it thins back out again. And I've done the same thing. You go all in January, and then things sort of peter out. And I've done this with many areas of my life, especially when it comes to health. And in fact, on this episode, I'm going to use a demonstration from my personal life. I'm going to be very transparent about something that I'm not super proud about, but this is where I got the aha insight moment about this. I'm tired of doing, whether it's my health or my business or whatever, about doing the all in, let's have a couple of intense weeks or a month or so and then go back to normal. I'm realizing that to be effective, it's not so much about picking a time of the year to amp up your efforts. You're most effective if you can somehow incorporate this into an ongoing lifestyle. But maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. So let's talk about this sort of transparent health thing that I'm going to share with you. So over the past year to year and a half, I have managed to somehow add 20 pounds or so to my weight. And so I've been aware of it. Every time I put on clothing that I haven't worn in a while, it slaps me in the face. And I've known for some time now, I've said, man, I got to do something about this. This is going in the wrong direction. And so here it is. It's the beginning of the new year. So I'm tempted to do what I've done in the past. And that was like the quick fix. I've done all sorts of different things with diets and juicing and so on to lose weight relatively quickly. I've had some success with that. There have been times when I actually lost 20 pounds in like 3 or 4 weeks. And the whole idea was it's gotten ridiculous. What I need to do is jumpstart this program. And if I can, get my weight down, I'll feel better. And then I'll be in a new sort of frame of mind. And then all I got to do is maintain it. Well, I have maintained it for maybe a month, 2 months or so, and then I go back to the old habits. This is nothing new. You've probably done this yourself. You know people that have. And so I'm just tired of that roller coaster ride, to be honest with you. And so I've got to do this in a way that makes sense to me, that can be long lasting. And I had this realization recently. It's actually something that I think was inspired by an audio that I heard years ago by Tony Robbins. But basically, it's a different way to look at failure and to look at results. He said, you didn't fail, even if you got a result that you didn't like, you got a result. And I started thinking about that lately. So my predicament is I have gained more than 20 pounds over the past year and a half. And one way I could look at that is I'm a loser, I'm a failure because I took my eye off the ball and allowed this to happen to myself. There's another way to look at that is I have figured out how to successfully gain 20 pounds. I have accomplished that. And so, it's a really weird way to look at it, but it is true. I have successfully gained more than 20 pounds over the past year to year and a half. So that would lead to a question, well, how did you do that, Bob? How are you so successful at doing that? And the answer is, I know quite readily that it's because of the small choices that I made on a daily and weekly basis consistently for month after month after month on end. So if I had to deconstruct the successful result that I got with my weight, that is the answer. So the reason I was so successful is because I made little choices consistently over time that led to this result. Awesome. So what's the solution? Is the solution to do something drastically different? Well, no. My realization is I'm going to lose the weight in the same way that I gained it, by making little choices on a daily and weekly basis, consistently, month after month, until I get the new result that I really want. And that is completely different than the let me try to lose 20 pounds in a month or so and then just put into glide mode after that. No, I'm kind of tired, like as I mentioned, of that roller coaster ride. So I've got to make a consistent effort to change my habits on a permanent basis. And so that's what I'm going to do. And based on the last episode where I talked about visualizing not only the end result, but the specific actions and behavior you need to engage in to reach the goal, I am now visualizing myself eating more live and green food and turning away from food that's in boxes and bags, staying away from sugar. So I see myself in the grocery store reaching out for the potato chip bag or box of donuts or whatever, and then stopping and going, you know what? This is not in my best interest, and turning away and going to the produce section. I see myself making salads, and I do actually enjoy vegetables and fruit and grains and all that stuff. And so I see myself making those choices. And it's already impacted my behavior because I started with an instinct to get something or do something that I know was not going to lead to the new result that I want. And I've changed my behavior. And that's pretty much what all of life's successes and failures and your evolution as a person is based on. And so even though I've been using my weight and my personal health as an example here thus far, how it impacts you is you can use this exact same approach for anything that you aspire to do. If you're trying to build your creative career as an artist or a musician, or you're trying to change some other aspect of your personal life, the same thing applies. It's about those little actions that we take on a consistent basis. Sure, there are some things that you can do to speed up the process, whether it's with marketing or with launching a product or whatever. But what are the consistent things that you need to do over time? And think about your failures, whether they were a business that didn't get off the ground, or a marketing or promotional campaign that you did that didn't pan out the way that you want. Stop looking at it as a failure and say, hey, I got this result. I successfully got this result. Then deconstruct it and ask yourself, well, what did I do? What role did I play? What happened to get that result that, even though it wasn't the one I wanted, it was a result that I can celebrate and I can learn from? Then figure out what are the things that you have to do. What are the behavior changes that you have to make little by little, not with a big push. It's going to last a couple of weeks and then fade away. But what do you have to do consistently every day, every week, that you can continue to do month after month, year after year, to slowly but surely ramp up to that thing that you're aspiring to do? It's not sexy. It's maybe not always the most appealing thing, but it's the most effective way to get what you want out of your creative career and out of your life. And if you're like a lot of people and like me, in fact, when you don't get the result that you want, you think of yourself as a failure. You say, oh, I'm just not cut out for this. Stop and say, wait a second. I had the skills necessary to get this result. And again, you're taking credit for the role that you played in getting the whatever that result was, good, bad, or otherwise. You have the skills to make consistent behavior choices, to make consistent decisions, to act in a certain way, to interact with the world with a pattern of behavior that led to the result that you got. So you already have those skills. It's just a matter of tweaking the behavior, creating some new habits little by little. And they usually don't have to be huge things. You don't have to become some different person. You don't have to do something radically different. It's usually just those little tweaks, those consistent things that you do that's just slightly different on a daily basis that will just take your life and your career in the arts or whatever it is in a different trajectory, a different direction, and one that you actually intended to go in. So that's what I'm going to be doing with my own weight loss efforts. Wish me luck. I will keep you posted on how this pans out. And I guess the fact that I'm publicly, revealing this to you and announcing that's my goal, it's going to help put a little pressure on me to stick with these behavior choices that I need to enact. But while you're holding the vision for my aspirations, I'm also going to be holding the intention that you are going to reach yours too. So think about this. You are a success no matter what the results you got. It's just a matter of deconstructing it, figuring out what new little steps you need to take, what you need to incorporate into your life. That's not going to wear you out. Just going to be tweaking things that you're already doing. And no doubt there may be a little bit of discomfort as you do things that are slightly outside of your comfort zone, but little by little you can change these habits, change these things. And as they accumulate over time, as you repeat these patterns, and that's the key, you can't just do them for a week and then drop them. It's consistent action. So whatever you got to do to remind yourself, to visualize, to affirm, to see yourself engaged in those activities, just like I'm going to be doing related to my food choices. I'm also going to see myself taking regular breaks and walking and going to the fitness center as I can fit that in. But at least I want to get up and walk and not just be sitting in a chair for hours on end every day. I know the things I have to do, but now I just have to take the steps to make the behaviors match up with the result that I actually want and desire in my life. And that's the key to getting things done and building a business and making an impact in the world. So I hope this was helpful. Feel free to let me know if you can comment somewhere on this page. If you're listening to this at the DIY Career Manifesto website, which is at DIYcareermanifesto.com. And as always, I appreciate it if you can rate and review this on iTunes and Stitcher and wherever you are consuming this podcast. Because it'll help an independent producer like me to reach a wider audience when you let people know how much you enjoy it. So I greatly appreciate that. And I appreciate you listening and sharing this and benefiting from it and hopefully acting on the advice that I dish out here. So thanks a lot. I wish you tons of success and the best of luck incorporating these new mini habits into your life. I'll be back next time with another episode. Who knows what's going to be? It could be an interview. It could be riffing on an article that I've written or read. Whatever it is, I hope it's inspiring you to pursue your own path as a creative entrepreneur. This is Bob Baker saying so long for now.